Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Kiss my... Happy Hanukkah.
For a couple of hours out of the whole year, we are the people that we always hoped we would be.
When you look at magnificent, glorious, it's indescribably beautiful.
Oh, Christmas tree, 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 oh, Christmas tree.
Careful the icy patch!
'Tis the season to be merry.
Well, that's my name.
Oh, shit.
You're listening to the 30-something movie podcast. Classic movies, 30 years in the making.
Beirut just needed to get away, find some peace in the world.
Did I tell you that my wife, who is not known for movie quotes,
She threw down?
she threw down at her office the other day. They were talking about, I don't know if they were talking about Leslie Nielsen movies or what they were talking about, but somehow the subject of Airplane came up.
Yeah.
And one of her coworkers said, "I've never seen Airplane." And my wife turns to them and goes, "Surely you can't be serious."
Oh, good film! That's why you married her right there. Well, bam! But that definitely helped. That is awesome.
I'm going to keep her around another year.
Well played, Katie. That is outstanding.
Well, you are listening to the 30-something movie podcast, and we'll round of applause for
that's right.
There we go. All right.
And while we're applauding, I do need to give my wife a shout out for
do it.
carving out the time for me to be here today
Yeah.
because Thomas is homesick.
Okay.
And she ended up rearranging her work meetings and work schedule to be home with him because she knew I really wanted to be here for this recording. So thank you, Katie.
All right. Katie, you're awesome.
Special lady.
And so the voice you were just hearing is somebody who hasn't been with us for a little while.
Hi.
It's Jeff Mazuka.
Hey, very nice.
I'm waving. Can you guys see me?
Yeah, half face back. That's a microphone, Jeff.
Oh.
It's not a camera. It's a microphone.
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hey, you guys.
There's a lot of yelling of "Hey, you guys" in different movies.
Yeah.
Some movie trope.
Started with Electric Company, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day. Did you ever watch the Electric Company?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you guys.
Well, this is the 30-something movie podcast.
Yes,
that's right. 30-something movie podcast, and this time around we're in December. I don't know if anybody realized that yet. It is December, and this time we are starting up our Christmas movies, our wintry Christmas movies. With you doing okay over there?
It's chilly.
You just a little chilly in here, a little nippy. What did
I say, nipple?
Can't see the lines, can you, Russ? That's next year.
Just watched that the other night.
We're gonna need 2 episodes just to quote the whole thing.
Oh my god! Can I
That's
take
my
some
name
off for
too. Yeah, no kidding. Yes, so we are doing Scrooged this time around. Fun. So this is our month of Christmassy type movies. So this time is Scrooge. Next time is Ernest Saves Christmas, and the last one is the maybe controversial Christmas movie of Die Hard. We'll leave our discussion as to whether that's a Christmas movie when we get to the Die Hard episode in 2 weeks. But
okay,
how you give everybody a little taste right now? What's your take on
whether it's a Christmas movie?
Yeah, without discussion, just what's your take on whether it's a Christmas movie? And we'll let the unwashed masses debate before we get there in 2 weeks.
It's not a Christmas movie.
Okay.
Pat, don't hit me.
Is it a Christmas movie?
It is a Christmas movie.
Okay.
But I don't think calling it
like Indiana Jones again.
Well, I don't think so because I don't think you're impugning the movie whether you say it is or isn't. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like Blues Brothers. Is it a musical or not? I don't think it's right, and I think I don't think you're judging the movie by saying whether it is or isn't. I'm just saying that's how I'm coming down.
Are we gonna turn this into a Temple of Doom thing?
I mean, we could.
Because really, if you think about it,
well, I'll tell you. I read an interview about Indiana Jones the other.
I heard you talk about that too. But I mean, who's coming to the rescue here? Who's coming to the rescue here? Bruce Willis, who's white, and all the other people who just are helpless and can't do anything. Black police officer. Japanese businessman.
You know what? Take your white savior narrative and shove it.
Shove it where?
Well, I don't
right up the Nakatomi Plaza elevator shaft.
Wait a minute. I don't want to do the spoilers. Well, I mean, are we going to spoil the movie? Like, we're in a week of it. But the police officer saved them all at the end.
Thanks for
Sure.
spoiling it.
Well, yeah, you can
I hadn't
edit
even
that
done
out.
this. That's 2 weeks away, and I hadn't even done the spoilers alert for that one.
Well,
Carl
way to go!
Winslow.
Way to go!
well, I'm just telling you.
Attaboy, Carl.
I'm just telling you, it filled me with good cheer.
The only thing that might have been even more awesome is if Argyle was played by Steve Urkel.
Argyle.
Jaleel White, everybody.
You're
all right.
You're all right.
Makes the building collapse.
Did I do
Did
that?
I do that?
Anywho, why are we here?
We're here for Scrooged. That's
Scrooged.
Die Hard's like 2 weeks away. See, we knew that we got him here. We knew if we got Pat here, it would just be like, guys, Die Hard!
It was awesome.
It was
it's so awesome.
It is just an
It'd be
awesome
like
movie.
Commando Part 2.
It is.
Which, oddly enough, again, not our Die Hard episode, Commando, Die Hard, at one point in time, there was rumors that it was supposed to be a sequel to Commando.
I remember talking about that
Yeah.
at the Commando.
Yeah.
Guys, should we just turn this into the Die Hard episode?
Yeah, do we need to go ahead? All right.
It's starting to sound that way.
Scrooge.
So Scrooge. So very, very quickly, we do spoil the stuff that we talk about, and we're going to talk about all kinds of movies. So we may spoil a movie that you haven't seen yet. This episode is on Scrooge. If you haven't seen Scrooge, go watch it and then come on back, and then you can be spoiler free.
We'll wait.
So we will. Just how have you guys been? Been good?
Great.
Everything going all right?
Especially after seeing Die
What did you have
Hard.
for lunch today?
An apple.
An apple? That's not much of a lunch.
I'm really hungry right now.
I bought a school lunch today.
You bought us. How did that go?
I regret every moment of it.
So very, very quickly, I got a couple of things. I don't know if you guys have any new movie news stuff.
New
but I
movie
have
news. Well, let's
two
hear what you have, and then
speedy things.
we can
and then-
add on.
Okay, so the one very quick thing, this doesn't
Never speedy.
No, it's not. The one quick thing that I don't know that requires a whole lot of discussion is that we may possibly have a Captain Marvel or Avengers 4 trailer coming later this week. Is what I heard. So
Well, I have
Fun times.
I've heard nothing, but I enjoy those words together in a sentence.
especially the Avengers 4 one, I would be super happy to get an Avengers 4 trailer and see what's going on. Yep, Pat's got his arms up in the air.
Yay.
Yay.
Hallelujah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
My other thing, and I will admit that I still have never fully seen the entire movie of The Shining, which I know is bad, horrible, bad John. But apparently they've made a sequel to The Shining.
Really?
Yes. So the sequel to The Shining called Dr. Sleep, which is actually a story that Stephen King wrote, obviously was not as famous as The Shining. They're making a movie of it. And so they made a movie of Dr. Sleep. It has wrapped production. The director is Mike Flanagan, who did The Haunting of Hill House and Gerald's Game for Netflix, which are, the Gerald's Game was a Stephen King
We're losing
story.
Pat.
And we're
Pat, do
losing
you need a hug?
I don't know. The Shining.
not a Stephen King fan? Not a Shining fan?
It's scared of bejesus.
Well,
I'll
yeah.
tell you that.
This one stars Ewan McGregor and Bruce Greenwood. Bruce Greenwood, I think, played Captain Pike in the new Star Trek movies.
Oh, yeah, I like that guy. He's
I
good.
almost was going to get slaughtered by a whole bunch of fans when I accidentally said Star Wars instead of Star Trek.
He did the. He was also the president in American Treasure or National
Yes,
Treasure.
National
too,
Treasure.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he
National
does.
Book of Secrets.
Yeah.
So great.
Yes.
Yeah,
Love it so
We
much.
just
One of
watched
your
the first one
franchises,
last week.
Jeffrey.
Oh my God,
Again.
It's so
For like the
so
50
awesomely
millionth
great.
time.
Love it so much. Can't wait to talk about it.
My wife, who doesn't normally sit there and be like, oh, I love this scene of the... My wife basically turned into Pat when we're watching National Treasure. When it gets to the very end and, they light the fire and it all goes down to the
all I'm
treasure
saying
room.
is, what if? What if one of those things was actually plausible?
Yep.
And who knew that they'd find the greatest treasure in all the world twice?
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
I mean, I had an idea once they made a sequel, but, it's neither here nor there. But it was there. So those are my two things. That there is a sequel to The Shining coming out. So, Shining fans, maybe you'll enjoy it. I don't know. I still need to go see The Shining first.
you should.
But, yeah. So, that's what's happening. That's all I got. What you
So
got?
could we discuss briefly
The Indiana Jones thing? No.
No, the trailer for the quote-unquote live-action Lion King.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Did you guys get a chance to see
Quote
that?
unquote live action?
Quote-unquote live-action, because really it's glorified animation.
Yes.
At this point.
Yes.
So I don't think it's fair to call it live-action.
Correct.
However, it's being called live-action.
Correct.
But whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not paid enough to make
Yeah.
decisions and rulings.
Yeah.
But oh my God, this trailer!
Oh, it was amazing.
Holy buckets!
Now, I don't want it to be a shot-for-shot recreation. I think they just did that for the trailer. Was the trailer
I heard
seems...
the whole thing was shot for shot.
What's that?
I heard the whole thing was a shot for shot remake.
The movie?
Yeah,
Oh. Well, see, I'm not excited about that then.
we'll see.
I don't necessarily want it to be a shot-for-shot, like, word-for-word remake of the original. because then I'll just go back and rewatch the other cartoon. Like, I hope I will see some different things in the movie. I'm assuming they'll do kind of what they did with Beauty and the Beast, where didn't you say they had a few extra songs from the musical that weren't in the original 91 version of Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah, so the animated one, there were some songs they didn't use, then they added songs when they made the stage show, then they incorporated some of that music into the Emma Watson Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. And I really
then added new stuff to that as well.
Okay. Yeah, and I really like the Beauty and the Beast
Oscars
movie.
and Academy Award.
Right.
Hopefully.
Right. So, I don't know. as long as Lion King is not just a shot-for-shot copy of the Lion King cartoon, then I'll go see it anyway, but I think I will be more interested if I know that it's got something different about it, as opposed to just upping the animation. Because if that's the case, if all they're going to do is make the animation look more sophisticated, then why don't you just take the audio track of the original movie, leave that in there, and just make the animation more sophisticated?
Don't know.
Yeah. I hope it's not. I hope it's not a shot for shot.
I'm not invited
recreation.
to those meetings.
Why not? Where have you been all this time then?
You know, I don't even know.
You don't even know.
I don't even know where I am now. I'm just happy to be here.
We're happy you're here.
We are.
Do you have an opinion?
Anyway.
You don't have an opinion.
Lion King's one of my favorite Disney movies.
Yeah.
I love the music. And I just I come down to, why are they making it? Is there an artistic statement that's trying to be made somewhere? And if yes, then I'll be curious to see, but just like...
Well, it's a whole pantheon of all these animated movies being remade as
that's the thing.
live action.
And with Beauty and the Beast, you better tread the line carefully. It's a fine line, because I think for a while they were going to do an all-new soundtrack. People are like, well, wait a minute, wait, hold on, what? We want to hear the Beauty and the Beast music. I would do the same thing. If they completely changed the music, well, that's kind of the music that I've loved about Lion King. But then on the flip side, if Disney wants to stay current and keep these characters current, and, then I can see, well, the movie was a success, so we're just going to bring the movie back. We'll put some modern people in there so that, young kids can relate, and that keeps the story current, which I really can't fault them for with that either. It's just, we'll see.
Yeah.
So I really...
Yeah, I think I thought that the new Dumbo was going to be either like a sequel or a different movie, but now as I'm seeing the newer trailers of it, it looks like it's a reimagining. I always forget the difference between like reboot and reimagining.
I think it's a reimagining because they made more of a through storyline.
Right. It looks more of like it's the origin of Dumbo, like the birth of Dumbo and all that stuff.
Yeah, the animated Dumbo movie was more vignette in nature, as opposed to this one that seemingly has more of a through storyline.
So there you have it. Did you have anything else with Lion King, or is that just...
That was it.
You're just kind of worried.
And I had other things I wanted to talk about, but I don't remember what they were. I should have written them down, but I didn't, so...
Okay.
I digest.
All right. Well, hopefully. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for our new movie news. Let's jump on into This Week in 88. So This Week in 88, we're looking at the time of, let's say, December 5th to 11th. So from this episode to right before our next episode. From December 5th to December 11th, we have on December 6th, American vocalist Roy Orbison dies of a heart attack in 1988. On December 7th, we have the Texas Rangers signing free agent pitcher Nolan Ryan to a one-year contract. Got to see him play as a Texas Ranger when I was a kid. That was awesome. The top song this week in 1988 would have been Look Away by Chicago. The top book was The Sands of Time by Sidney Sheldon. And the top movie for the week ending December 11th was Twins. And Twins is actually going to be the top movie going from now until the end of the year in 88. That's not true. I think at the very, very, very end, Rain Man was the top movie for like the last week of December. So that's, and this week in 88, I turned 8.
Oh, that's so cute.
Spoiler alert. It doesn't end well. All right, so I don't know.
It's funny because it's true.
It's funny because it's true, but it's not like haha funny.
No, it's like I'm forcing myself to laugh because otherwise I'd cry.
Sorry about that. So like I said before, we got Pat and got Jeff with me. I think Bo may be hopping in here in a little bit. He was leaving work.
Marley was dead to begin with.
Are you giving things away?
Well, no, it's how the book starts.
Are you spoiling?
It's the first line of the book, man.
Oh, man. These people didn't watch the book.
Maybe they should try reading the movie then.
They probably should. I don't know what we're saying anymore.
I don't know. I'm just happy to be here.
Can we listen to the comic book?
I've got no follow-up.
Okay, either.
Okay, great.
Okay. So, yeah, so we may have...
It's good to be back.
It is excellent for you to be back. We missed you.
I've missed this.
Yeah. So Bo may be showing up here in just a few minutes, and Dennis, I believe, may even try to make it in here. We did not bring snacks, so who knows if he will make it here or not. He does show up when there's food. Well, that's true. We did bring snacks, but yeah. All right, so Scrooged. Scrooged came out on the 23rd of November, 1988. It was rated PG-13, 1 hour and 41 minutes. Directed by some guy named Richard Donner, who did some other stuff like Superman, maybe? And Lethal Weapon, which, by the way, very, very quick, I will jump in and say, saw Superman, the 40th anniversary showing in the theater on the big screen, and it was amazing.
As one would expect.
Excellent. They showed one of the the late 30s, 40s Fleischer cartoons in front of it, so that was fun to get to see on the big screen. But yeah, it was just, I'd never had a chance to see Superman, the old Supermans on the big screen, so that was a lot of fun to do. Took Nora with me and we went to go see it. So Richard Donner did Superman, did Lethal Weapon, and then producers on this one were Richard Donner and Art Linson. Donner also produced The Lost Boys, and Linson produced The Untouchables and Fight Club. Writers for this one were Mitch Glazer and Michael O'Donoghue. Michael O'Donoghue died in 1994. Glazer also wrote The Recruit, and O'Donoghue was a writer for SNL. Cinematography was Michael Chapman, who did Raging Bull and The Fugitive. Danny Elfman did the music. He also did Batman and Beetlejuice. Batman's coming up in just a few weeks.
Yay! Woo!
That's the other one that we might have to contain Pat a little bit.
Whoa!
So that we can...
Somebody's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's coming. Good.
Budget for this one was $32 million. The box office, $60.3 million. Flick Metrics gives this a score of 63. That is averaging out the tomato meter, the critics' tomato meter of 69, the audience score of 71, the IMDb score of 70, Letterboxd score of 68, and Metascore of 38. You're making hand motions.
I thought from that's really low for Die Hard. Really? Oh wait, no, this is the other one. That's next week. Oh yeah. Okay.
Just keep your pants on, okay, or put them back on. This is not Die Hard yet.
All right.
We only agreed that you could take them off for Die Hard.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Starring Bill Murray as Frank Cross. He was in Ghostbusters, Lost in Translation, and a couple other movies here and there. Karen Allen was Claire Phillips. She was in Raiders of the Lost Ark and Animal House. How do you feel about Raiders of the Lost Ark? Do we want to talk about the... No, we don't want to talk about the Raiders of the Lost Ark thing and the...
Oh, that thing?
Marion thing and the...
No, let's move on.
No.
Yeah, because
Nope.
It would affect my viewing.
Moving on. Moving on. John Forsythe, who died in 2010, played Lou Hayward. He was in Charlie's Angels and Dynasty. John Glover played Bryce Cummings. He was in Smallville and Payback. Bobcat Goldthwait was Elliot Loudermilk. He was in the Police Academy movies and Tapeheads. I
want to talk about the movie.
Hey there, Rabbit.
Yeah,
I can't do an impression of his voice.
I do not like Bobcat Goldthwait. Well, no, he's okay in this movie. Just
it gets to be a little bit too much. Give me my job back.
Now you're starting to sound like Bill Cosby.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what is happening.
If you want to give me my job back and the Jello pudding and David Johansen played the Ghost of Christmas Past. He was in Let It Ride and Kick-Ass. Carol Kane played the Ghost of Christmas Present. She was in The Princess Bride and Addams Family Values. And Robert Mitchum, who died in 1997, played Preston Rhinelander. He was in North and South and Cape Fear. Here is the trailer, and we will be back in un momento.
7 o'clock, Psycho sees Santa's workshop, and only Lee Majors can stop them. In the night the reindeer die. Be here.
You can't show that commercial. That thing looked like the Manson family Christmas special.
Think I'm way off base?
Yes, you're a tad off base, sir.
Frank Cross is more than the youngest network president in television history.
Call security. Have them change his locks and toss him out of the building.
Oh, he's fired? It's Christmas.
Thank you. Call accounting. Stop his bonus. Watch out.
He's a thoughtful boss.
Thanks, boys. Get the nurse.
A generous brother.
What did he give you last year?
I don't remember.
A shower curtain.
Ma'am, I think you dropped something here.
And a true humanitarian.
I can't get the antlers glued onto this little guy. We've tried crazy glue.
Have you tried staples?
But his life is about to change.
That was a good one.
You are going to be visited by 3 ghosts tomorrow at noon.
God, tomorrow's bad for me, Lou. As a matter of fact, the whole rest of the week is a washout.
Anyone who thinks he hates Christmas is wrong.
Go back to Jersey, you moron!
It's ghosts he hates.
I love that bit!
I'm the ghost of Christmas present.
Bill Murray. Karen Allen.
It sounded like you'd seen a ghost.
A ghost? John Forsythe. Bobcat Goldthwait.
Hey! You glad to see me, or is this a shotgun in your pocket? You know this one?
Everybody knows this one. Let's go now.
Yeah, does everybody know this one?
Carol Kane. Robert Mitchum.
I really care!
David Johansen.
Oh, I'm having the weirdest day!
This holiday season, see Bill Murray get Scrooged.
Hey, back off, big man. That may work with the chicks, but not with me.
All right, so we are here today for Scrooge. Let's start off with, I'm going to make an assumption.
Marley was dead to begin with.
There we go. So I'm just gonna ask the obvious question. Is this the first time you've seen this movie? No.
Last year was the first time I'd seen this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Your recommendation at the...
Then you're welcome.
That's what I'm saying. So this is the second time I've ever seen the movie. I saw it for the first time last year. Or maybe it was earlier this year.
Okay.
It might have been earlier this year was the first time I saw it.
Sometime within the last 360 some days. You
Yes.
saw this movie for the first time.
Yes.
Okay. So what was it like? So let's just stay with you for a minute then. What was it like to see this for the first time today in 2018, 2017?
I enjoyed the movie. I am not. Sometimes I can be humbug around this time of year. I don't necessarily actively seek out holiday movies, Christmas movies. We've got our go-tos. There's a whole pantheon of Christmas movies that I've only seen parts and bits and pieces and all that. And then I think it was at our 200th where we did the best Christmas movies. Or no, it was Christmas. We listed Christmas movies at one of our
the 100th.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then Jeff, you guys were talking about Scrooge, and I just said, I've never seen that. And it's like, oh, you really go out and see that, make a point, or I'll bring it, and so I saw it, and I enjoyed it. It was fun. Bill Murray. What else do you say? And I think he's just at his finest in this movie. Just the visual, the looks, and the way he handled it, and that role. I thought it brought a fun twist to the Scrooge thing, and I thought it was a really fun movie. Great use of Miles Davis with the cameo, playing the Christmas tunes on the street. That was pretty fun. Okay. But yeah.
Now, when was the first time you saw this? Was it as a kid?
Idea.
Was it
idea.
Many moons ago?
Yeah, I feel like it's been so long since I first watched this movie.
Yeah.
That I'll probably watch it a couple of times every Christmas season.
My dad was always a big Bill Murray fan, so I know I saw this early on. I don't know how close to when it came out I saw it, but it would have been pretty early on. We probably either watched it on TV or I don't think we went to the theater to see it, but I remember watching this as a kid. But yeah, I was always a big Bill Murray fan, so this one and Ghostbusters and a whole bunch of other 80s Bill Murray stuff would have been in the rotation in our house. But how does this kind of compare to, of other versions that you've seen of the Scrooge story, how does this one compare for you? Do you think, does this one do a good job of kind of keeping that same heart behind the Scrooge story, or?
I think so.
Okay.
When you try to really remove the history of the story and the consciousness of the actual story, and create the same themes but put it in an entirely different setting, I think it does a really nice job of that. You know, the whole idea of redemption and having the ability to make those choices yourself, to do the right thing for the sake of the right thing, doing the nice thing just for the sake of being nice, is really, I mean, it definitely comes through. You know, I mean, I assistant directed Christmas Carol at the Metropolis Theater for a number of years. So I really got to know the story, you know, inside and out. So I always look for the subtleties and how they handle different aspects of the story. And, you know, like this, like when in the story, young Ebenezer, his fiance breaks up with him because he's started to adore money and focus just on getting money. You know, it's the part in Scrooge when that happens is the character's focusing on his career. So, you know, it's just like, you know, finding, okay, what are they going to use instead of money? What is that thing going to be? In this case, it's his career, and it's climbing up that ladder as being the goal, as opposed to hoarding all of this money. It's just in this movie he's seeking power, and yeah, I definitely think it holds true to the themes of Dickens' original work.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking of that one scene in particular when they talk about how they ran the promo, and like the old lady had a heart attack or whatever it was, and it made me think of the line in Scrooge of, well, some people would rather die. Well,
if they'd rather die,
then they should go ahead and
better hurry up and do it.
Decrease the surplus population.
It's like it's all those nuances that if you don't really know the story, you're not going to pick up on a lot of that. But like I said, for me, being familiar enough with the story and the stage adaptation that we used, which was very faithful to the book, it's fun for me to kind of just, you know, pick out all those moments like, oh, this is the part when this happens and this character represents this, or this moment represents this part of the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think for each of the three ghosts, I mean, that's always a big part of four ghosts, I guess, if you count the Jacob Marley character. Do you think that this does a good job of translating the idea of like staying faithful to the ghosts in the Scrooge in the original Christmas Carol story? Because I always think of the Ghost of Christmas Past is very much about history and very much about, you know, obviously things that you've done in the past and how that affects your future. And then I think of the Ghost of Christmas Present as being a very, being kind of like the jovial spirit who's always living in the moment. But then I think of this Ghost of Christmas Present. Sometimes I think of the Ghost of Christmas Present in this one, and she's just like all over the place. She's like so frantic. I'm like, I don't know if that.
But I think if they went with the traditional interpretation of the ghost, it wouldn't match Jim Carrey. Bill Murray's character.
Yeah.
Because his interpretation of the Scrooge character is very different. He's not old and stingy. He's an ass.
Right.
And he doesn't care who he steps on to get his way.
So do you think the ghosts fit well
I
his?
think these ghosts fit better with the interpretation of the Scrooge character. You know, I think there was more you could have done with it. You know, like with Past being the cab driver, you know, maybe the cab could have changed to a different look with each decade. You know, and how has history changed, which is, you know, it's small potatoes to really pick on that. But I don't know, I think that I think you had to change the personalities of the ghosts, because a jovial present isn't going to match Bill Murray. It wouldn't make sense. You need someone that can go toe to toe with him and keep up with him and his sarcasm. I'm doing a lot of talking, Patrick.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of listening.
Sorry about that.
No, in a positive. I passively read this. I'm not as familiar with the source material as yourself. I mean, I've never directed the show, and if I read the book, it was a while ago.
What are you doing with your life?
What I don't know. Well, I never learned to read.
Oh, okay.
That's my problem.
That makes sense.
So I guess I don't have the depth of comparison.
There's a Johnny Cash movie I'll show you later.
Okay, that sounds good. So it I really liked hearing about that, and then how the ghosts related to different aspects of Ebenezer Scrooge's personality, right? I mean, or did it relate to his person, or it just echoed how?
Well, so I think in this adaptation of it, the personality of the ghosts had to change to meet
him,
Bill Murray's Frank Cross character, because his character is a little bit different than the traditional Scrooge character.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't quite have that breadth of knowledge to bring with it. I saw one of the movies back in the 30s. Was one of the other movies.
Were you just a boy then?
I was just a boy, just a lad. And I just remember this guy in chains, and he'd scream, and then I mean that was pretty. And then I saw the animated one, and that always
the Jim Carrey one.
No, not Jim Carrey. This was like a Disney character. There were animals.
Mickey Mouse.
Was it
Mickey's Christmas Carol?
Possibly, where he ends up hanging at the side of the ledge, and there's the fire coming up, trying to get him at the very end. I don't know. So let's just say my experience with this is a passing experience. I know the story. I've seen a couple of the movies.
Right. Yeah.
And so, back to your original question, before I just ramble on here, back to your original question, does it hold up and does it have heart? I mean, I think it conveyed the message in a modern sense. I mean, it didn't seem like, what are they doing with it? I mean, I think the overall theme was there, and I thought that was pretty cool. I saw it more from the standpoint of they really made it a vehicle for Bill Murray to shine. I think that so much was reliant on him. Like, can you do the movie without Bill Murray? Well, I think would be kind of a silly question, because it almost seems designed to bring aspects of his character and his particular acting and comedic style, bring that out. And so I think it did a nice job of showcasing that, but keeping true to the original themes. I don't know if, in my limited experience, I don't know if this had necessarily the most heartwarming feel to it, if it had the most, the purest moral message that either reading the book or seeing one of the other movies had, as opposed to just kind of letting Bill Murray's comedy come out within that role. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I think it was leaned a little bit more towards, man, Bill Murray's pretty funny in there. I mean, even the ending, when the way he's handling the end, and I'm going to have this moment with everybody on screen, and I'm just going to bare my soul, and it's going to all be good. And meanwhile, he's got the people in the booth hostage with the gun, or the other guy does. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there was always that piece right there. It was more comedy than morality play or morality tale, but I don't think that takes away from the movie. It was very enjoyable, and it was funny. So does that clarify the?
Yeah. One of the things I thought was kind of interesting when I was reading up on this was I meant to go back and look, but I had read somewhere that this was the first movie that he had been in after Ghostbusters. Like he didn't make any more movies after '84, after Ghostbusters, and he had kind of walked away a little bit. I don't know if necessarily from acting in general, but just movies. And so he kind of, like, coming back into this movie, it was like, you hadn't been doing this for a while, so he was feeling a little rusty in terms of acting in a big screen movie. So that I read a couple of things that this is not necessarily not necessarily that it's not his favorite movie, but he just didn't have a good experience working on the movie. I guess he and Richard Donner the director didn't really get along very well. I guess they both had different ideas on what the movie should be. And
Little Shop.
That's true. Yeah,
I'm looking it up right now. He had a little role, a small role in more of a cameo in Little Shop.
Right. I don't know that he did anything else
in terms of
substance. Other than that.
This is the next big film that really featured him as a main character.
Yeah. So I mean, he had taken a little bit of a break, and and I guess he had some demands that he and Richard Donner kind of butted heads over a little bit. He wanted to expand the kind of romantic story with Claire, which I thought was great. I mean, I like that part of the movie. There's obviously more of that than there is in the original Christmas Carol story, but I liked their relationship. I thought that was a good match, was Karen Allen and Bill Murray. Sometimes I worry about Bill Murray as a comedian. can he really do the like love story relationship part of it, or is he just too goofy? But I thought this one, I thought he did really well.
I thought that, and I thought Ghostbusters. I thought he was, you know.
Yeah, but so I sometimes wonder if actors like that, can they do the romantic part as well as they can do the funny. Speaking of not being able to do the romantic as well as the funny, how you doing?
Wait, what? Oh, yeah. Good, how you doing?
Are you playing the stupid game?
No.
You want to silence that, please? We're doing a recording here.
I think it's
So Scrooged. How do you feel about Scrooged? This is Dennis, everybody. Dennis, at one point in time, used to be a co-host on our show. And then,
a chill just came in the room. A little bit of
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You filthy animal. So Dennis is back.
Dennis is
Hi, Dennis.
I was unavoidably detained.
How's your garage?
$119 better.
Oh, okay, there you go. So Scrooged.
$119.
How do you feel about Scrooged?
I love Scrooge, man.
Yeah. Did you? I'm assuming he's the only one that only saw it recently, but
did he?
I'm assuming
first time you've seen it or no?
Earlier this year.
That's the first time you've only seen it.
Yeah. I just real quick. I don't see a lot of holiday movies.
Okay.
So I just never got around to it.
I totally caved. I was going to get a drink and somehow fries were only $1.
Let me help you.
The marketing worked. Thank you, Wendy's. Anyway, take what you want. Yeah, because I don't want to eat them.
Well, in that case.
Wait. Did you see this in the theater when it came out? Or?
No.
Okay.
Saw it on VHS, I believe, a long time ago. Back in the because what year was this? It was 88, right? Oh, something. Yeah, sorry, 88. So I was.
At the podcast show,
About
we talk about
16,
movies that
17.
are 30 years old.
I just
That's our gimmick.
Yeah.
That's our hook.
Oh, it's been a while. I know if things change.
Give him. He's not a math teacher. Just give him a break.
I didn't know if things changed. I thought maybe we were the 40 or 50. I don't know. No idea.
He's great with camera angles.
Yeah. I don't want to get all technical.
The Dutch angles and the
Anyway,
that's a real camera angle, okay?
The Dutch oven?
I'm just gonna come right out and say
that's
that
different.
I teared up at this movie.
You did.
I did.
Yeah.
When the little boy, because when a little boy, you're waiting for the whole thing. When he comes out and the little kid just maybe it's the actor.
Absolutely.
He just comes out and he says that, man. How could you not tear up at that point? It's such a good moment. I don't cry at sad things. I cry at happy things in movies. And when he comes out and he does that, and I think Bill Murray's response, and then even just I remember them getting into the crowd, this side of the theater, it would have been cool to see that in the theater.
To be in the theater, yeah.
Because would people have responded? Would they? It would have been great if they did.
Feed me Seymour.
You, the guy that's been
Feed
talking all
me
the time.
Seymour. Feed
Yeah.
me Seymour. Yeah. So no, Scrooge. I thought it was well done. I've always loved that movie.
Cool.
One of my favorites for holidays. I think it's good.
So we were talking a little bit earlier about the three ghosts, and we said the three ghosts are different because they have to be different based on Bill Murray's performance and how
Different
they're
from the
Scrooge.
traditional understanding of the ghosts.
Right.
Because Frank Cross is a different take, much different personality than the traditional Ebenezer.
Yes.
So is the Ghost of Christmas Future not different enough?
I don't think there's any way that you can.
Because I'm trying to think of all those Scrooge stories.
Different.
Right. I'm trying to think of all the Scrooge stories, and it's almost always the Grim Reaper type character.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think any man's future is death. So why not have?
Yeah.
It's got to be the Grim Reaper.
Yeah. You had the added bonus of the face being a TV screen, and the creepy little ghoulish things when it opened up. That terrified me as a kid.
Yeah, it did. That was creepy.
Yeah, you open it up, and our little faces are
Yeah.
When we when I worked on the show at Metropolis, one of the things that we always faced was how do we make death different? We want it to be something different every year. We don't want, even though we use the same adaptation every year, we try to come up with new ways to do things. And death was one of the characters we looked at and said, what can we do differently? How can we give the audience a different surprise with this character?
Yeah.
But a lot of times it went to some sort of Grim Reaper type.
Okay. Did you ever come up with anything that you felt like was different enough?
One of the things we did was a statue. So like Scrooge's, in the graveyard near Scrooge's grave was a statue of, it's on a monument or something. And earlier in the scene or two earlier, we had a mannequin wearing that costume or whatever, and then gets pulled off stage, and then an actor gets into that costume, assumes the same pose, gets wheeled on stage, and all of a sudden, as Scrooge is like cowering, this mannequin starts to just come to life and move and just points, doesn't say anything, just look over here, sort of thing, which was really, really eerie. And it really made people uncomfortable, which you want out of that ghost.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be a comfortable thing like, well, death is my future, but, he's fun.
Yeah. I love how people will take kids to a showing of A Christmas Carol, even like little tiny kids, not realizing that, hold on.
Right.
There's ghosts here.
It's going to get dark
It's going to get dark. And because we went to the Drury Lane Theater, did a production of it a couple years ago. I think they do one every year, but a couple years ago we went, and there was, the Jacob Marley character was, that was kind of creepy to begin with. But the moment moment his character came out and there were flashing lights and thunder and lightning on stage and everything else and all the smoke, and it just all of a sudden you couldn't tell for a little bit how many kids were in the theater, and then just all of a sudden simultaneously a whole bunch of toddlers. You just hear kids start screaming and crying. I'm like, okay, folks, maybe don't bring your really tiny kids, because my 7-year-old, and my son was fine, but my 7-year-old daughter, she's freaking out. So maybe that's a little young. Actually, in that production, the centerpiece on the stage was Scrooge's bed. And they would turn it around, and it had another set piece on the back of it. And at one point, I think it was for the Ghost of Christmas Future, he's getting up out of bed thinking, 2 ghosts came, I must be done. And I think a hand reaches out from under the bed. The entire theater screamed. Including myself. The entire theater screamed when that hand just flew out. I think all the lights turned green when it happened and all kinds of other stuff. But it's a freaky play.
Yeah. It's a great morality tale, but it gets dark.
Yeah.
And it's not happy for a lot of it.
Yeah.
When you start going back in Scrooge's history, and even before the heartbreak of his fiancée breaking up with him, you look back to when he was a kid at boarding school, and his dad refused to let him come home, and he just had to be at boarding school by himself for the 2 or 3 week school recess until kids came back, until finally his sister at one point said, okay, Dad said you can come home now. That's really tragic. I wish that would get explored more.
Well, I think of that whenever,
at least in this movie he got some feel.
What's that?
At least in this movie he got some feel.
Yeah.
I think I do think of that movie. I think just that not the movie, but any of the movie versions and the play version and everything else, that story of that is an interesting backstory, because when you see that, to me, it kind of explains how somebody, because you go, wait, but he was such a nice young guy, and he had this girl, and he was da-da-da-da. How did he turn into this at the end?
Yeah, early on,
and it makes you see when you run into other people in the world like that, they have their Scrooge story somewhere. Somewhere something happened to them, and or over the years, they became jaded and angry, bitter people.
They've learned not to trust
anything and just be out for So it sort of helps you navigate, and I think that's why it is such a classic tale that can be retold over and over, and you can always use that reminder. So to me, it works really well. But with this, back to the particular film, even just the Herman piece, and just Bill Murray's performance. I don't know what you all talked about before I got it, but I'm just saying, I think it's another good example of how Bill Murray could do both sides, very much like a Robin Williams, very much, because there are moments in this where he's very serious and it gets there's no comedy here.
Yeah, that Herman part is
the Herman part is heartbreaking.
It's almost shocking because it comes out of nowhere.
Right. Yes. And he's so there's parts in there where it's he really pulled out was able to go the acting spectrum from one side to the other, and it worked really well.
One of the things that, and this is really nitpicky for me,
Talk to me, Herman. Wasn't it Talk to Me, Herman?
Yeah.
When he starts interacting with Future, he is still, for my liking, still a little bit too snarky, a little bit too sarcastic. The switch to becoming more humble doesn't really land, because he's not humble enough when he meets Future.
Right.
Almost as if he hadn't gotten enough out of past and present.
Yeah.
Well, he has.
By the time he meets Future, though, he should be a little bit more prepared to see what Future is going to show him, and instead he's still just joking around, class clown, very sarcastic.
It almost doesn't, and so maybe that fits in with putting more emphasis on the love story part of it. It almost doesn't click until he sees that Claire has changed and become more like him.
Yeah.
Like that's almost when it clicks for him. But you're right, like in most of the traditional stories, by the time he gets to Christmas Future, he's already got it. He's like, yep, I got it. You don't really need to show me anymore.
I don't want to see
and
this,
it's like,
but I know
nope,
I have to see this.
We're going to show it to you anyway. And yeah, it's the icing on the cake. But I think this time it wasn't until he saw Claire change when he sees her I think she's in the restaurant with the other women.
Yeah.
And she
makes a comment.
She makes a comment. Like, I'm so glad.
Someone once told me to.
Right.
She's all,
scrape off the.
Scrape off your shoe or something.
Scrape the barnacles or something like that.
Something, yeah.
The barnacles.
I don't know.
On your shoe?
That was something off your shoe, wasn't it?
Has your shoe been out to sea? What do you?
Maybe.
It's been on Pat's boat.
But not in the back.
No.
But see, I don't know. In some ways, though, I like that. I don't know. I mean,
like it still works
because it's hard for a person to change that quickly. Sometimes I always get upset with stories we've talked about, like Batman, gonna kill Superman. All of a sudden they mention Martha, and all of a sudden they're best friends. Like anytime it's too quick of a transition. Anybody seen Creed yet? Creed 2.
Haven't seen it.
With there's a little bit of a shift there at the end. But anyway, it's one of those things. It's one of those.
Thanks for saving me the time.
It doesn't tell you anything. You don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm like, anytime there's people will often bring up like, well, this happened too fast.
Drago gives Rocky a hug and says he's sorry.
So you saw it? So anyway, I'm okay with it not being so, and I think that is really the one thing that would push his button to change more and really be serious, to show that this other person who we love so deeply and is buried under all that is now turned into him, and what better revelation to make him change is that moment where, okay, like in other words, he can give up on himself, but how dare, like, oh my God, that was the one person in this world who was so perfect and such a beautiful soul and light and giving.
Right.
And look what she's become. Like that would be the one thing that almost is like the.
I just don't feel like he was humble enough before Future, in the presence of Future.
Because he's still thinking about himself, though,
right.
A lot up until there. So I think he could be smart.
It just didn't land right.
Yeah, that's
all. Yeah. And then same thing with that whole part at the end, which is hilarious when he's out and he shows up at the end. And he's, wow, it just feels too much like rambling, almost like he's improvising because he's got to fill time. It feels just a little all over the place. So I wish it was just a little bit more cohesive.
And I think that was my point when I was saying that the morals were there and it hit home for me. What I know of the Ebenezer Scrooge story, but it still seemed like a vehicle for Bill Murray.
Maybe
whether to show off his act. Well, and you brought up a good point. It showed the breadth of his skill, the range. But then it also, like the end, it seemed like hey, let's let Bill Murray do it.
Let's turn him loose. That's what they did. I could see that not being scripted. Just like Bill Murray go, you got like 10 minutes.
And it was hilarious. Man.
Yeah.
But I mean,
so maybe they just expected the audience to bring in the prior knowledge of the story, so that they could get away with letting Bill Murray just sort of go off. But to me, it was just like, where is this going? What direction is this taking? But again, it's very nitpicky. It doesn't ruin the movie for me.
No, because I think in some ways I think the rambling worked because I think that.
And I sing along at the end when I'm watching on my couch.
Yeah, I think the rambling works at the end in a way because if you had a guy who just been through this and has just changed, you're almost going to be a rambling fool lunatic. Like you have this new lease on life and you don't know where to start. So it's like, stuff is just pouring out. I can see that, but.
So, do we have a favorite scene or a favorite quote from this one?
You put Miles Davis in a movie, I think that's pretty cool.
Anything with Miles Davis?
Yeah, I was a pretty big fan of Miles Davis. So when he was in there, and then all of a sudden it panned through when I saw it earlier this year for the first time, I was, whoa, wait, hang on, reverse. Wow, he's really in there. That's pretty cool. So.
I'm just looking at quotes right now. Like nothing stands out to me as being a quintessential quote from the movie. There's got to be some that.
I think when he does, because I haven't seen that one as recently, but he starts doing the imitation of somebody. All the homeless people want him to do an imitation of. Is it Bert? Or no? Is it? I forget. He just starts talking like Richard Burton. Yeah, Richard Burton. There you go.
Well, and I think Bill Murray's is funny just by the looks that he throws or the glances it's just funny to watch him. Like he'll say things, but it's like how he'll react and how he'll take something in a direction that either the character in the story or you as the audience member, you didn't expect it to go that direction, but he'll go with it. And I wish I could be more specific, but it's just fun watching him. Watching.
Did you talk Bobcat yet or no?
They try to do their best Bobcat impersonation.
John's been waiting to talk about Bobcat because he loves him so much.
Oh, I think in this movie though, I think he's.
I'm fine with him in this movie.
I know you can't stand other things, but I think this.
He's got
something in the booth.
bag,
That's
and
one of my
all of a sudden-
favorite quotes. I forgot what it was. It was the one where he's in the quote in the booth.
Hello, you rascally rabbit.
Yeah, that was good too. That's it.
I do like the part when the census lady comes around. And he's there, like they're standing next to the carpenters, and he's like, I want to see, like she's got the dress on, and you can see her nipples over the top of the dress. He's like, I want to see her nipples. But this is a Christmas show. Well, I'm sure Charles Dickens would have wanted to see her nipples. And then the carpenter guy walks by. You can barely see them nipples. He's like, see, and these guys are really looking.
Yeah. That was a stapling this stuff to the.
Yeah,
I think that's the other.
Can't get the antlers to the mouses. Have you tried stapling it?
Yeah.
Did you ever see, and when they show shots of his office that has a definition of cross?
Yes.
So his last name is Cross.
Yeah.
It says cross, a thing you hang people from.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. That's funny.
There's talking about the book with the positions.
Yeah.
Try this one.
So it'll make somebody bark like a dog.
Yeah, his
a buddy of mine did that. Actually, somebody on Twitter this morning, somebody who follows our account and retweets a lot of our stuff, Gidget Von LaRue from another podcast, she put up a picture this morning, and it was the Kama Sutra book, and she said, "What 80s movie is this in?" And I'm like, tweet, I know what it is.
Nice. Yeah, his reaction to that was good, and just how he can play off things that are, and you wish you could. He can roll with the punches real well. His characters always can, and it's believable, it's plausible, and he can roll things into a joke, and just even like a scene like that, which someone gives you that for holidays. Yeah, it might be kind of like, how are you going to react to that? But his way of just reacting with humor was entertaining. That was fun.
The Madeline, what's the ghost, the toaster? What's her name?
Carol Kane.
Carol Kane. I'm like, I think she's great. There were just the lines between them two back and forth, and the poking in the eye.
Carol Kane can go toe to toe with Bill Murray.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Never mind a movie. She could go toe to toe with him, but she understands the purpose for a character like that. It's the same thing in Princess Bride. Mm-hmm. She understands her role in The Princess Bride being with Billy Crystal. She gets what that character's supposed to be, and she does it so well.
Are we ready for 5 questions?
Sure.
I'm ready.
All right. That's a resounding yes.
My soul is prepared.
How's yours?
How is it?
Asks each traveler 5 questions.
It's impossible to answer.
Impossible because you don't know the answer.
Nobody could answer that question.
You've got to ask yourself one question.
What are you asking me for? I don't know.
What you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
30 seconds for your response. 5 questions. Starting with question number 1. What's the worst cab ride you've ever taken? This could also include public transportation if you want, but worst cab ride you've ever taken. I'm going to start with Jeff. Ready, Jeff? Go.
Worst cab ride would be from the port of Miami to the Miami airport. The cab smelled bad, and we would have gotten another one. However, we had 2 cabs, and the first one had already left, so we didn't want to lose the rest of the group, so we had no choice but to take this awful cab. The driver didn't really know where he was going. He was, red lights were just a suggestion to him, so we thought we could die at any given moment. But yeah, that was a pretty awful cab ride.
Nice.
Done.
Pat.
I got nothing.
Pat Buchanan.
I really got nothing. I don't reject the question. You might have to come back.
Are you too good for cabs?
No.
Transportation. What is that?
I've ridden in cabs. I've ridden in.
But it's just people trying to earn a living. So really, can we come down on them and tell them what they're doing is bad?
No.
Yes.
No. I got nothing. Like, I've ridden in cabs around the world, and I got nothing. It's no
braggart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Now he's
guys.
trying to tell us he's too good for us.
He doesn't have to tell us. We already know.
Oh, I know that.
Joke's on you.
Yeah. All right, well, your time's up.
Yeah.
Dennis, worst cab ride or public transportation you've ever taken?
30 seconds.
I don't know if I have the word. It's sort of similar to him, but I would say it was the worst probably for the other people in the thing. When we were at Washington, D.C., this is with other teachers, Jason, Anna Grove, our principal, and a bunch of Brenda. And for me, it wasn't that bad, but I know for them it was. So in a way, I got the front seat because I was the tallest person. So I got to talk to the taxi driver, but they were packed in the back seat, 4 of them, and you had 4 people all talking, and it was just a lot of times we didn't know where we were going because we were going from the Gaylord Hotel to something else and back, and it was just a daily trip because we had to pack everybody in, otherwise we had to pay for 2 cabs, and we weren't going to do that. It would have cost a lot more to go where we were going back and forth. So every day getting into that taxi was all the complaining and all everything that went on. So it wasn't really, it was a comical, not so bad experience for me, but definitely as a whole, I would probably say that was probably my most memorable taxi ride.
Okay, all right. As usual, give Dennis 30 seconds. He talks for a minute.
You're supposed to stop me at 30.
Yeah, right.
So you used up your 30 for the next one.
It was only, I saw it was only 5 seconds over.
No, it was a minute. It was a full minute.
That was his 30 seconds, and then my 36 seconds.
Whatever. My answer is going to be real short and say any cab ride I took in Italy.
Really?
It was. I just remember I was a kid, and
cars don't do well in Venice.
No, we weren't in Venice. We were in Milan, and it just was. It was kind of like the cab ride in Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Okay.
Just like we were all over the place, and I feel like at one point we might have taken a shortcut through the park somewhere, and
so were people lost, or were they just?
No, the drivers are crazy.
The driving is aggressive.
Just absolutely aggressive, crazy driving, normally my dad would be the person like sitting in the front seat of the cab, being like, "This is awesome." Even my dad was like, "Oh my god, oh my god." So,
he went over time, but he stopped it at 23. So he gets to stop it on his own. He stopped it on 23, and he talked for another 30 seconds after.
That's right.
Oh, wow,
so
it
was still quicker than yours.
Somebody go that boat.
Still quicker than yours. All right. Favorite movie or TV show to watch at Christmas time?
I slightly reject the question.
You can have more than 30
I can't
seconds.
pick just one, but I'm gonna go with Elf, Christmas Vacation, It's a Wonderful Life, Charlie Brown Christmas, and the original Miracle on 34th Street.
Did you say pick one?
I did say pick one.
I can't pick one.
Okay.
It's a stupid premise for any question that John asks.
Well, I did.
Plus others, but
I invited other people to come up with questions, and no one did. So.
Is this part of past 30 seconds?
Yes, it is.
Well, he doesn't watch holiday movies, so he doesn't have an answer.
Well, that's true. That's all right. All right, Pat, what do you got?
He's got nothing.
I think the
Movie or TV show to watch at Christmas time?
the best movie, the National
It
Lampoon's
doesn't have to be even a Christmas movie. Favorite movie or TV show to watch at Christmas time? Is there one that you like? Your family watches this time of year? Or?
My family, we always did National Lampoon.
Okay.
And Christmas Story as well, but National Lampoon was always the one, and I can't wait till the kids are old enough.
I can't wait till we talk about that next year.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was just the classic. It's like that with the family. My brother came dressed as Uncle Eddie one Christmas. I mean, it really just that's the Christmas movie.
Nice. All right, Dennis. What do you got?
Christmas Story, the one with Red Ryder, BB gun.
Yeah, there you go.
Bam, 3 seconds, done, baby. So take that 27
eat
seconds
that.
off.
It's smiling at me.
Yeah.
We were talking about
No.
we were talking about the other day because we were watching some kind of a cooking show. We were watching a cooking show, and I realized I've never had duck before. I've never had duck, so
It's very
I
gamey.
That's what I've heard. So, yeah.
You want to think it's like chicken, but it is not.
Not like chicken.
And that's a movie that you could just quote so much all the way through, like by heart. Just
That's
like every
that's Sharon's favorite movie of all
Time,
time.
man, you got to take her to the house.
I know. We still haven't gone yet. Gotta
Just
go.
outside of Cleveland.
Yeah.
Bears, more like chipmunks.
At one point I almost bought her a leg lamp a couple Christmases ago, but she told me not to.
It's a lamp.
It's a major award.
It's a major award.
It's a major award.
Fragile. It must be Italian. It's a bowling alley. All right. So this one, favorite take on the Scrooge story. So.
Did you answer the Christmas movie one?
No, actually, I didn't answer the Christmas movie one.
Done.
I will say favorite TV show to watch at Christmas time. I'm gonna go with Christmas Vacation. I have to do that one.
So good.
Mm-hmm. That and
That's a movie though. You said movie or a TV show. Okay, be either one.
Yeah.
TV show right there.
Muppet Family Christmas.
I know Muppet Christmas Carol would be my other one.
Muppet Christmas Carol.
And Muppet Family Christmas. Yeah, I think I like Muppet Christmas Carol better than Muppet Family Christmas.
Should I go flag in?
Oh, is Bo here?
Yeah.
I said if someone should call that Bowen.
I didn't know he was here yet. Oh, hey, Bo's here. Yeah, so I think I'd go either Christmas Vacation or Muppet Christmas Carol. Favorite take on the Scrooge story? I've never heard of that one.
I'm going to go, so Muppet's Christmas Carol is a lot of fun.
Yes.
I really appreciate how the Disney Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey is very faithful to the source material.
I still have never seen that one.
And then I like the Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Okay.
Which was a very slight adaptation of the story.
Yeah.
But there you go.
All right.
That's what I got.
Dennis.
I mean, Scrooge is, when you say take out, you mean like version of it.
A version of the
So
Scrooge
not necessarily
story,
like a different twist on it, but like, okay.
No, yeah.
I'm trying to think of the name of the main guy. The one that we used to watch was always on
George C. Scott.
It wasn't George C. Scott. No, it was the one.
Was that awful Jason Alexander?
It was the Alistair Sim, I think.
Oh, Alistair Sim. That's a
It was the one that was always on Fraser Thomas's Sunday Classic. So I remember just every winter we get the popcorn. It'd be a Sunday afternoon. That show would come on, Fraser Thomas, whatever classics. And that was the one where they slip on the ice, go skating on the ice and all that, like that. The snowball. I always remember the snowball scene where he gets hit with they throw the snowballs. So that was probably my favorite. I think, and maybe that's just nostalgia there too. But
nice.
Henry Winkler one was interesting.
Hey, Bo.
Hello.
How you doing?
Never saw the Henry Winkler one?
I don't think
I don't think I've seen
Henry Winkler.
Christmas Carol.
I think I have you. And I love, I watch 7 or 8 different Christmas carols.
For you guys to watch. There's a Henry Winkler.
Walking around going, hey.
That's right. I love all versions of Christmas Carol. I probably have 3 recorded on my DVR right now.
It might have been made for TV, but I'm not sure.
Well, so that's the question we're on right now, is favorite take on the Scrooge story.
Ooh. Okay, so this is going to shock everybody.
Sure. Patrick Stewart.
The Patrick Stewart TNT version might be my absolute favorite.
Shocking.
Really?
Except there's a contender in the clubhouse that I've seen recently that I had forgotten about. It's animated, but in a different style of animation that I can't really explain. It's called Christmas Carol the Movie. And what I love about it is it sort of delves into more of the
like Santa Claus the movie?
Yeah, right. It delves more into the debtor part of Scrooge in a way that no other does. And it's been too long since I've read the freaking book, which is really the problem. So I can't tell you if this means it is more true.
So Christmas Carol the movie is a 2001 British live-action / animated film?
That one.
Huh. Okay. Simon Callow, Kate Winslet.
That's the one.
Nicolas Cage.
Yep. That is my contender for possible. I'm not saying it's better than the Patrick Stewart one, but it's up there. It's really good.
Huh.
Because it explores a different part of it. They spend a lot more time on people who owe him money and how him being how he is affects them, not just on the Bob Cratchit story, which is interesting. Just a different take.
Okay.
The Kelsey Grammer, Jason Alexander one, I could do without.
Awful.
It is absolutely.
Just
I want to like it because doesn't Menken do the music?
I think so.
Like I want to like it.
But it's just awful.
It really is.
It's so bad.
Oh my god.
Do you have a favorite take on the Scrooge story?
Maybe the original one.
The original movie made back in the 1800s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Maybe I like that one. Okay.
Wait, if you're talking about original movies, do you mean Alistair Sim, Reginald Owen, or no? Sorry.
1938.
38 must be. I think that's Reginald.
Where
Owen.
black and white, where he goes to the door knocker, and then the guys that have
face turns into.
It turns into the face, and then the guy is always screaming in the chains.
Yes.
Yeah,
I remember watching it with my dad and grandpa. I got about 10 minutes into it, and then I
just saw. I think it's the original Owen one that I just watched.
But you know what? I love Patrick Stewart, so maybe I'll take the record. Like I'll see that.
You should check out the Patrick
That
Stewart
the-
one. That's a good one.
Is that the one?
I think so.
Yeah, that's original. That's the original Owen one.
I think I've
This
seen
is
that.
this. Wait, which one's this one, right?
That's the only one I-
Yeah.
That's the one that I was talking about.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
That's
the
the one-
Alistair
it's a
Sim is the
very good one.
musical, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Where
Alistair
they're-
Sim
yeah.
is in 2.
This is
One's
where
the
he's
musical and one that's-
dragging all the chains. The guy
There's one.
shows
There's a
up.
music. Yeah. There's one where it's a musical, and I remember that. Yeah.
I
all
think
the songs.
Alistair
My dad. Those are
Sim-
probably the two that were like staples every year.
And then here's the Alistair Sim one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the one. Yeah.
And the other one that I've seen a ton
Oh
of.
wait, what about the
George C. Scott.
George C.
is-
Scott, yeah.
His is a classic.
No, and there's another.
I think Alistair Sim, original Owen, one of them is in 2, which is weird, but
Who's there's one.
I'm gonna go Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, okay.
I like that one.
a classic,
Back on track.
a modern classic. for
Albert
sure.
Finney. Is there an Albert
Oh,
Finney?
yes.
That's the one.
Well
the
done.
musical. That's
Yes.
Albert Finney.
Okay.
Well done.
I think I've seen that one.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Wait, I gotta see the Muppet.
I literally
The
was-
Muppet one's
Songs
good.
in that one, Mike.
Do you need a copy of the Muppet one?
everything that's been mentioned here, except the Henry Winkler one, because now I have to track that one down. And all the ones we've mentioned, I will watch in a Christmas season.
That's cool. Good. That's awesome.
Like I love this story. Don't know why. Can't explain it.
Yeah.
Just
Because you hope to redeem your life one day.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I realize how much of a horrible human being I am.
We're all together for the first time in how long?
I know.
What a special moment.
Together.
God bless us, everyone.
Did I forget something, little man?
Feed me, Seymour. Feed me.
Bless us. So,
Thank you, Tiny Dennis.
so little Cratchit will not only jump up and run
been
around the
talking.
room, he will jump up and be Mary Lou Retton, who will do flips across the room.
Do one of these backwards into one of these.
I get at the opening thing with where it's like the action movie and Santa Claus is getting Gatling
Lee
gun.
Majors, yes. One of these things. Only Lee Majors can save him. The night the reindeer died. I want to see. By the way, I want to see that movie.
I know.
I mean,
I know. Has everyone at least seen The Night They Saved Christmas? The
oh my God, I love that movie.
Right?
Talk
See,
about hard to find.
Exactly. All you guys give me a hard time about being bah humbug, that you got to see The Night They Saved Christmas.
Yeah, what in the hell are you talking about?
I said I'm bah humbug.
Well, so
yeah,
now you're trying to blame us.
I know, that's what I'm talking about.
There's our mouths here. I don't know what's going on.
I'm talking about. I'm
You
not
guys
putting
always
anything
give
in
me a
your
hard
mouth.
time.
But
Talking to myself.
All right, question 4. Favorite Bill Murray movie?
Oh, unfair.
Totally unfair, but
I know.
I gotta go with.
I narrowed it down to 3. Does that count?
I've got 2, so I'm with you.
As the main actor.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
See, that's so
see, now.
That's not cool at all.
We shouldn't be allowed to
You're
ask
using up
questions.
your 30 seconds.
I gotta go with Ghostbusters. It's
Okay.
not. It's cheap and easy, but it's the easy. Yeah,
It's in good company.
it is.
Jeff.
I had Ghostbusters top of the list, but Groundhog Day and What About Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, I'm gonna wait for the other 2 I had because I'm sure they're about to come out.
And mine will be a surprise.
Okay.
I'm
worried that you might steal mine now, but.
Oh.
Ghostbusters is
I like
so
2
far
already.
up there that you just have to say it.
That was my first experience
But
with
just-
Bill Murray movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for contrast, I'll throw in Stripes.
That was on mine. That was one of my top.
Okay,
3.
so we can at
I
least throw
love
it out
that
there,
movie.
but-
oh my God,
yeah.
This is one of those it was Stripes was the basis of a lot of my passwords when I was in high school.
Okay.
That movie and those characters, it was just something I knew, so I was like, okay,
Lighten up,
this will work.
Francis.
Oh
You
man.
know how to get into Bo's accounts?
Well, if you can still
I mean-
find those accounts,
Oh, okay.
go for it.
So your MySpace account?
Exactly, stuff like that, yeah.
I mean, I would love to
Is
be.
it your Angel Fire website?
That's
Is that what it's?
GeoCities, baby, come
GeoCities?
on.
Okay.
The original OG right
There you
here.
go. There you go.
I would love to say something like Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. I mean, I'd like to be that
Yeah.
guy. I just don't know those movies as well. In Ghostbusters or Stripes. I mean,
Moonrise
those
Kingdom.
This is so good.
Is that going to be yours, Moonrise Kingdom?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Lost in
What's yours?
Translation.
That's actually one of mine.
Garfield? No. No, I was gonna say Stripes.
you have any
Stripes
regrets?
was one,
Garfield.
but then the other one that I don't think anybody would have mentioned. I'm gonna also say Meatballs.
Okay.
Good one.
I thought about
Wow.
it. I did.
There's something about Meatballs that just has the.
I think about meatballs a lot.
Meatloaf. Sorry. Meatballs.
For side, Kingpin was in there
I know.
too. I started thinking of less things because the
Zombieland.
character in there, and the Zombieland was
See,
gonna be
Zombieland,
better.
yeah.
What about
That's
we
why I
talked
said
about
yes.
that a couple weeks
So I said
ago.
not main
But
actors.
But
I said-
Caddyshack.
Well, and that was my number 2 was
Go in there
Caddyshack.
too. I mean, that's
That's a stupid question. I don't
really
like
is.
this game.
I was going to say Ghostbusters, Caddyshack, Stripes, top 3. And I could easily fill out the top 5 if you gave me another minute.
Yeah. Since everybody else has said Ghostbusters, I was going to say as my 2 or 3.
Ghostbusters 2?
No. I like Ghostbusters 2, but no.
Well,
you're the one.
Yeah, I'm the one.
It's fun, but that's about it.
Just want you to know everything you're doing.
The joyfulness is over.
Everything you're doing is wrong. I just want you to know this.
He is Vigo!
Command me, Lord.
That might be the best character.
I've worked with better,
He's so good.
but not many.
But not many. I would have said Caddyshack. I would have said Zombieland, and I also would have said Lost in Translation. I do like that.
I Lost in Translation.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You should see that. It's
You're going to
so
have to
catchy.
watch it twice.
Quick change.
Because
something's going to get lost in translation.
no, the first time, if you're
like
like
that.
me,
Isn't
you may
that,
focus way too much
isn't
on
Randy
Scarlett
Quaid in that one
Johansson.
too?
And then you watch it a second
Kingpin?
time and realize Bill Murray's in the movie too.
Oh.
You might.
No, it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
You look up.
All right, so finally, 5th question. If you could revisit any Christmas memory from your life,
Energy and Davis.
what would it be?
Yeah, he is Randy Quaid.
Any Christmas movie from your life.
Oh, you're up.
Wait, what was the question?
Any Christmas memory from your life that you could revisit, what would it be? If you could go back and watch a Christmas memory of yours. I'll go ahead and do mine. I would go ahead back and watch the Christmas when I got all the Star Wars toys. Like, I got
Solid.
X-Wing, I think I got the Ewok Village, I got the Jabba the Hutt playset, I got a bunch of action figures. I would go back to that one.
Christmas
And I would beat my young self up and take them and bring them back to the future.
Wow. I got dark.
It's a Scrooge story. It gets dark.
Okay. Wow. Christmases are so crazy in my family because we have a big family, so there's just people everywhere. There was a Christmas we spent in Indiana with my cousins. That was really cool. It was my dad's side of the family. People that we don't always get together with. His family's a lot more far-flung than my mom's. I mean, we're talking Alaska, California, just all over New York at the time. So everybody showed up. It's probably the last time we were all in one room. So there we go.
Nice. Jeff?
10 years old when I went to Disney World for the first time.
Nice.
Ah, very nice.
My grandmother, her birthday was Christmas Day.
Oh, okay.
And she had passed.
My grandmother's is Halloween. So.
August of that year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so my folks thought that this would be a really great way for myself and my older brother at the time to make sure we're staying positive and staying happy and just doing some fun things while still remembering Grandma. But so yeah, they took us for Christmas that year in 1988.
Nice.
To go down to the Magic Kingdom and Epcot. Those are the only parks there at the time.
Was your grandma a Disney fan, or were they just coming up with,
I don't even know.
We're just going to do something fun?
I don't think so. I don't think she was. I don't think she hated Disney. I just don't think it was a thing she cared that much about.
Okay.
But I think they were just like, if ever there was a time to go and do something special as a family, this would be it.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's my 30 plus seconds.
There you go. Go for it.
Picking one memory would be
no positive memories.
Impossible.
No.
Well, all positive memories, and I'd love to pick one or to talk about the different tradition, and it's just just too many to kind of say here. So I'll just say the next Christmas is the good one, and I'll tell you that as of late, I always go to our church's like midnight service vigil.
Like a candlelight service.
Yeah. And the kids are still a little young to go at that. I have played at the various churches I've been to. I've always played my trumpet at it. The music is very moving, and usually my mom and dad are both there, and Tammy was there. Now the kids they all go home, and I'll tell you it's just the last number of years, and it's always been, I've always driven home by myself. I've just had time by myself, and I see my mom and dad. The service gets done around 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I just drive home, and I'm all by myself. Just on the way home, I'll put on music, and then I get home, and everyone's asleep, so I check on the kids and all that, and then I'll change clothes, put on my running clothes, and just go out for a run through the neighborhood, and just kind of think about a new beginning in the year. And I don't want to make it the religious podcast, but kind of think about my faith and how is that going to, just on my own, and get ready for the next day to wake up the kids and create all new memories. And that's kind of how it's been for the last since the kids have been born, that's kind of been the tradition. And then they're going to get older, and they'll probably come, and the tradition will change a little bit. But that's kind of my Christmas memories. Every Christmas, just that leaving the midnight service and going out, doing a run, and just kind of getting ready for the new year and what Christmas brings and all that kind of stuff. So
nice, Dennis.
30 seconds, huh?
I know it's hard, right?
The 30 seconds is a guide.
I know. All right. So one that you could revisit. I guess I'm going to go back to, probably the first year that I realized that there was, spoiler alert, that there was no, the tradition, the Santa that everybody saes, that all the gifts weren't coming from Santa.
Wait, what?
I had just turned 19 years old.
Wait,
just
what? Well, hold on.
Just had my eyes opened by a lovely woman.
And I received a gift that kept on giving.
No, I was like between. I think it was
Sorry,
the 10 to 11 years. So I was right around 1980. It's about 10 or 11. 10 or 11. Well, I mean, in the sense that everybody thinks that he can go all the way around. There is a Santa, but anyway. And I think that year, because number one, my whole family was there. So my brothers everybody was still alive. My grandpa had, because I think I was 10, he had still been alive. So I remember my grandma coming over, my grandpa, and my dad would always go to this shop called Izzy Rizzy's. And there was this like prank shop somewhere in Chicago. And he'd get all prank gifts for everybody. He got my grandma a witch hat. It was just like, so I mean, just like literally a German helmet for something. It was just like the most bizarre gifts ever. And we would all get bizarre gifts and the fake bomb. So there was always that. But I think it was because when I realized that there was none, my Christmases changed from that point on, because I went from being, like as a kid, it's all about what you're going to get from Santa. You make your list. And now all of a sudden, after realizing, a lot of kids were devastated like when they hear that. And for me, it was like, wow, so I could actually kind of be like Santa now. And now I can give. And it was the first year that I think, bought and got other things from my brothers, and we all gave each other gifts. So now, because I was the youngest, so that was kind of somewhat held off, because if you're getting gifts from everybody else, it didn't seem like everything came from Santa, it seemed like, up to that point, as far as I remember. And now all of a sudden, we were exchanging gifts, and you got to become the giver. You got to become the Santa, spirit of Santa. And for that was just a great year to make that shift and become more of a giver instead of, what am I going to get my toys? So it was a mind shift change, and my whole family was back together. And everyone was alive.
Nice. All right.
And they all died.
Well, as you do. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for Scrooged this time around. Before we jump into giving you all the different places you can find us, we have coming up in the next couple weeks, Ernest Saves Christmas is next week, and then Pat's favorite movie of the year, question mark, is Die Hard, coming up in 2 weeks. And then if we're able to, we're going to see if for our last episode, we're going to try to see if we can jump into a viewing of Aquaman and do an episode on that one before the year closes out. So in the meantime, you can find us at 30podcast.com, at 30podcast on Twitter. The voicemail line is 872-356-6843. Yeah. These guys... I'll pull back the curtain for just a second.
No, we need not.
Everybody's trying to distract me.
No big deal.
It's Baby Ruth. Baby Ruth is no big deal. Baby Ruth. Go drop it in the pool. So that is where you can find us if you want to hear more about the podcast. And like I said, next week we're going to be doing Ernest Saves Christmas, and then after that Die Hard, and then after that Aquaman. So also, if you're looking ahead to 1989 for next year, we are going to be putting out a list of our first couple of months so that you can take a look at those and view those ahead of time. So until next time, gentlemen, Bo, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Jeff, thank you for being here.
I'm glad to be back.
We're glad you're back too. Pat, thank you for being here.
Hey.
Hey. Dennis, thank you for being here physically.
Hey. 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row?
No, it's like second podcast.
This is the first one.
It will be. It will be. You're looking ahead.
When will then be now?
Yeah.
We're all fine here.
How are you?
How are you?
All right. Be excellent to each other and go watch some good Christmas movies.
Catch you later, Bill and Ted.
Have fun storming the castle.
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle. Bye-bye.